All right, what's going on YouTube? This is BoxingWave. Before I get back to boxing talk, you guys know I haven't really been active on the channel. I had a much needed break from the YouTube channel. But before I got back into the mix of things, I felt that I needed to speak on Kobe Bryant. My condolences to anyone that was close to him in any kind of way, family, friends, teammates, anyone that's been inspired by him, fans, whoever. Very sad story of him and there was 9 people on a helicopter, including his daughter, um, children, husbands, wives on that helicopter. My condolences to everyone that has been hurt and affected by this helicopter crash. Okay, including the pilot, everyone involved. Okay, my story of this similar, how I found out was similar to like a lot of other people. I was taking a nap. I woke up and saw a text and didn't believe it. Didn't believe it like I didn't believe some other deaths that I heard. I don't know why. It's like I tend to not idolize celebrities. Even ones that I grew up watching. Uh, but when certain people die that are like icons, especially someone like him, you just don't believe him because I know we're all people, I know we're all equal, but certain people are so great at what they accomplish. You just wouldn't expect anything to happen to them. I know it's kind of weird, because people pass away, uh, people do lose their life out there, and you're sad, it sucks, but when it was Kobe, just didn't believe it, and then I just received a bunch of texts and I Googled it and, it was confirmed that he lost his life. And then I found out it was his daughter and there was a bunch of rumors. His whole family was on a helicopter, Rick Fox, all this stuff. So I was pretty much in the mix. I couldn't get off my phone. I was just checking every 5 minutes for updates, wanting to know what was going on, what was the update, which mainstream media to believe, whatever. I was like everybody else. Kobe Bryant, what he was to me. Let me say this. Basketball was always my first favorite sport. I mean, obviously, boxing at this point is my favorite sport. But as a young child, basketball was my favorite sport. I was a hardcore basketball fan leading up to the 2000s. Let me say that. So even though I was young, I was 36. I'm 36 years old. I was born in 1983. But I watched basketball from the very beginning. The jackets that I wore, jerseys, sneakers, video games, toys. Everything was all about basketball. I was a football fan, I was a baseball fan, I was a boxing fan. But basketball was everything to me. You know, I was a Knicks fan that loved Michael Jordan. I idolized Michael Jordan. I idolized Michael Jackson. I idolized Mike Tyson from the age of 5 or whatever age I was. Okay. Um, Michael Jordan is probably my favorite athlete or favorite person, period. Okay. When it came to Michael Jordan, when it came to him, he was just different from everyone. Now, the time that Kobe came around, I wasn't the biggest fan of him at first because of the comparisons to Mike. Um, I didn't really understand at that age when Kobe came around. His idol was Michael Jordan. So when he did everything so similar to Michael, I didn't like it. Okay. Not only that, but Shaquille O'Neal is one of my favorite basketball players of all time. He's in my top favorite 5 basketball players of all time. And when all the beef and all the drama started happening between him and Shaq, I was more leaning towards Shaq's side, to be honest. But the respect for Kobe's game was there, especially as he matured. I'm talking about number 24, going into number 24 Kobe, when he was a matured Kobe. Okay, and he won his two championships on his own without having Shaq there. That's when I began to respect him a lot more. But at this time, LeBron was my favorite basketball player. All right, my favorite basketball player was Michael Jordan, and my second favorite basketball player of all time is LeBron James. Huge LeBron James fan. But and I don't want to make this video so long, but let me say this about Kobe. The thing about Kobe Bryant that separates him, and it's just these three people that I've watched throughout my lifetime. There's only three people out of all the dominant players that I've seen play any sport. The level of competitiveness in Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, and Tom Brady. I can't compare anyone to those three. I'm not talking stats. I'm not talking about championships. I'm not talking about dominance. There's plenty of players that were dominant. I mentioned Shaquille O'Neal earlier. There's plenty of players that I love throughout the sport of basketball, boxing, baseball, football. There's Tiger Woods out there. There's a million different all-time great or the greatest player of every sport or whatever. But Kobe, Michael, and Tom, they didn't have any fear. I've never seen them look vulnerable before. You know, I've seen them lose, but looking vulnerable, it never really happened. They lost games, yes, but those three, I just can't compare any other player. And like I said, I love LeBron James. I've been in plenty of arguments about who with LeBron and Kobe and Jordan and comparison and I've been in plenty of arguments, but LeBron, as in many other dominant players out there, Kevin Durant, go back in time, guys like Dominique Wilkins, Larry Bird, uh, going into the newer era with Kobe's era, AI. You had Vince Carter, you had Tracy McGrady, you had Grant Hill, you had Penny Hardaway. Kobe Bryant was just relentless. He was a savage. This is why they call him Mamba. And the greatest example is his final game. That was my personal favorite Kobe Bryant moment ever. Even though I've seen him drop 81 points, I've seen him win championships, I've seen him do crazy win game winner shots, and I've seen him do some amazing, amazing things. But sorry for the noise. Kobe Bryant scoring 60 points on his final game after he had already been injured. After we already saw that he was at his lowest point of his career. Okay, he was fading and fading fast. He was still crazy enough to score 60 in the game. And that just goes to show that he was different. There was nobody like him. There's nobody like him, you know. Um, and that's what I think of Kobe Bryant. No matter how many players that's gonna come and that's been around, Kobe Bryant he was different, man. And I only seen what I seen in him. I seen in Michael Jordan. I seen in Tom Brady. These guys, they could be down. They could be down on points, and this guy didn't care. He showed he was dominant, and he never showed fear. And I respect him. And it's sad that he had to go the way he went out. Um, I played this all in my head the past few days about even how it happened, and I was thinking like, man, even while on that plane, as that helicopter went down. I'm sorry, not plane, helicopter. I'm sure that as it was going down, I'm sure he was the one on that helicopter, like, consoling his daughter and just thinking about it, just like, damn, like Kobe, even on that helicopter, and you living your final moments of your life. I mean, I think he was so fearless that he was probably even fearless at his very last moments in his world. Um, Very, very sad. Uh, when it comes to celebrity deaths, I don't share a tear for many of them, but when it came to Kobe, uh, Walker's another guy that I can say I idolize because he had such an impact on me and the whole car world. If you're into that, you know, the Fast and Furious franchise, and he had so much influence and he inspired so many people. I mean, back in those days, I was a hardcore car guy. I was going to the car meets and and into the import lifestyle. I subscribed to the super streets of the world and all these import tuning magazines, and I used to go to all the car shows, and I used to play around with the little street. I don't want to talk too much, but I was into that. So Paul Walker hit me hard personally, when he lost his life, and others. Nipsey passed away last year. That hurt a lot. Aaliyah dying. Tupac and Biggie, Michael Jackson. There's certain people that hit hard, but this Kobe thing, and being that his daughter was with him, and his daughter had potential to continue the legacy as far as basketball going into the WNBA. I'm sure she would have made it at some point. It's just sad. It really hurts me. It hurts to see everybody that I do, idolize, hurt by this. Listening to Shaq's interview, Tracy McGrady's interview. It really, really sucks. Um, anyway, I'm not gonna speak too long on it. I just wanted to give you my thoughts. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Uh, I know his family got to be going. His wife Vanessa. I know they have to be. I mean, the average fan are not even taking it. They're not taking it well. So I can only imagine how devastated his family must be right now. Uh, I know a lot of people are putting too much attention on the negative things that's been said over social media about Kobe. It's so sad, man, because if people just if we just ignore the negative stuff and not shine a light on the negative stuff, because these are people clearly trying to get attention, or they're just hurt by something personal to them. There are people that are willing to go online and be disrespectful. Why even bother paying them any attention? I never understood that. If we just ignore them, they wouldn't get the attention that they're seeking, and they would just go away. Anyone that's talking about Kobe's past or who Kobe chooses to marry, or anything race, eh, just it's sad. But anyway, I'm gonna leave my video at that. Um, Catch up on some boxing videos, man. I just wanted to give you my last thoughts on Kobe Bryant. Uh, Amazing, top 5 NBA player of all time. No matter where you put him, he's without a doubt the first or the number one or two greatest shooting guards of all time. It's either him or Mike. wherever you have him. Mike is obviously my number one. I heard people say something about, like, people around my age were saying that, Kobe is who they watch and understood. They were old enough to understand what Kobe was doing at that time. And I understand that. But even at a very young age, I was already a huge fan of Michael Jordan. I understood what he was doing. Plus, I had a father that was into the sport as well. So I would sit down and watch these games and go to the games, and I understood even at a very young age what was going on. So I understood what Michael Jordan was doing when he was playing Magic, Bird, Clyde Drexler, all of these guys. What he was doing to the Knicks every time he came to the Garden. Reggie Miller, all these guys that he played, fights with Reggie, all these guys, Xavier McDaniels, Isaiah Thomas, and the Pistons. I understood what was going on as it was going on, even though I was young. So maybe not in the 80s, I might not have understood as much, but I would say the late 80s going into the 90s, I understood what was going on. I knew the greatness of Michael Jordan, you know, and I could tell you right now, if Kobe was playing in Jordan's era, we might be having a different opinion on who's the greatest. Or if Jordan was playing in Kobe's era, or vice versa, or whatever. There were plenty of dominant players in Jordan's era, but Jordan made sure that a lot of them didn't win any rings. Same with Kobe in his era. And now LeBron in his era. LeBron has it with KD, Steph Curry, all these other guys. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace. Rest in peace, Kobe.